In a significant legal development, a federal judge has decisively sided with Marvel Studios, shielding the entertainment giant from a high-stakes legal battle. On June 9, 2025, Judge Louis Lyman of the Southern District of New York dismissed a defamation lawsuit filed by actor and director Justin Baldoni against Hollywood power couple Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds. This ruling came as a major victory for Marvel, as it directly nullified a subpoena that sought to compel the studio to hand over its confidential and proprietary documents. These sensitive materials were related to the development of a character named Nicepool, from the blockbuster film Deadpool and Wolverine, which had become a central point of contention in the sprawling legal dispute. The court's decision effectively slams the door on Baldoni's attempt to pry open Marvel's creative and business strategies. The subpoena, which had been formally served in February 2025, was a source of considerable concern for the studio. Marvel had fiercely resisted the demand, filing a motion to quash it in April. The studio argued that complying would be an undue burden and would risk exposing trade secrets tied to one of its most valuable franchises. With the underlying defamation claim now thrown out, the judge found that the request for Marvel's internal files was no longer relevant to any active legal proceedings, thereby granting Marvel the protective order it had sought. This legal victory allows Marvel Studios and its parent company Disney to breathe a sigh of relief. The documents in question were described as highly confidential and pertained not just to a single character but potentially to the broader creative processes behind the immensely successful Deadpool series. Revealing such information could have provided competitors with invaluable insights into Marvel's character development, marketing strategies, and future narrative plans. The protective order ensures that the studio's internal playbook, including early drafts, concept art, and internal communications about the controversial Nicepool character, remains securely under wraps and away from the public eye. The dismissal marks a crucial turning point in a bitter and highly public feud. The legal saga has drawn in major Hollywood figures and institutions, from actors to studio heads like Kevin Feige and Bob Iger, who were named in initial litigation hold letters. While the core of the fight is between Baldoni and Lively, Marvel found itself caught in the crossfire, forced to expend legal resources to protect its intellectual property. Judge Lyman's ruling not only resolves this specific issue for the studio, but also sets a precedent that may discourage similar attempts to involve third-party entertainment companies in celebrity disputes by targeting their valuable trade secrets. The catalyst for Marvel's involvement was a specific character featured in a memorable 4-minute scene in Deadpool and Wolverine, released in July 2024. The character, known as Nicepool, was portrayed by Ryan Reynolds as a distinctly misogynistic and unpleasant alternate universe version of his iconic Deadpool persona. Justin Baldoni's lawsuit alleged that this character was not just a random parody but a deliberately crafted and defamatory caricature of him. He claimed that Reynolds and Lively, who also appeared in the scene as Ladypool, used the character as a tool to publicly mock, bully, and damage his personal and professional reputation on a global stage. Baldoni's legal team argued that the timing and nature of the Nicepool character were directly linked to his ongoing feud with Lively. They contended that the character's traits were specifically designed to mirror the negative public image that, Baldoni claims, Lively and Reynolds were trying to create for him. The character's exaggeratedly chauvinistic behavior and ultimate demise in the film were, according to the lawsuit, a form of cinematic retaliation. This accusation transformed a brief gag in a superhero movie into a key piece of alleged evidence in a multi-million-dollar defamation case, forcing an examination of the line between artistic parody and personal attack. This dispute originated from the troubled production of the film It Ends With Us, which was released in August 2024. In late 2024, Blake Lively filed a lawsuit against Baldoni, who directed and co-starred in the film, and his company, Wayfarer Studios. Her allegations were severe, including claims of sexual harassment, creating an unsafe work environment, and fat-shaming her postpartum body on set. Lively further accused Baldoni of orchestrating a retaliatory public relations smear campaign against her, supported by what she claimed were thousands of pages of incriminating texts and emails from his former publicist. In response, Baldoni launched an aggressive legal counteroffensive in January 2025. He filed a massive $400 million civil lawsuit against Lively and Reynolds, accusing them of extortion, defamation, and invasion of privacy. He vehemently denied all of Lively's allegations, framing them as a malicious fabrication designed to destroy his career and reputation. It was within this lawsuit that the claims about the Nicepool character were made, positioning the Marvel film as an extension of the couple's alleged campaign against him. The legal filings painted a picture of a deeply personal and acrimonious conflict that had spilled from a movie set into the public domain. In his ruling, Judge Louis Lyman provided a clear and layered justification for protecting Marvel's secrets. The primary reason for quashing the subpoena was a straightforward matter of legal procedure relevance. Since the judge had dismissed Baldoni's core defamation claims against Lively and Reynolds, the entire basis for seeking information from Marvel evaporated. The documents related to Nicepool's creation were only considered relevant as potential evidence to support the defamation allegations. With those allegations now off the table, the judge concluded that there was no longer any legal justification for compelling Marvel to produce its internal files. The request had become moot. Beyond the issue of relevance, Judge Lyman addressed the principle of proportionality, a key consideration in legal discovery. He stated that even if the defamation claim had survived, the request for Marvel's documents would have been disproportionate to the needs of the case. Forcing a non-party like Marvel to undergo the expensive and time-consuming process of searching for and producing a vast trove of confidential information would be an excessive burden. The judge weighed the potential value of the information to Baldoni's now dismissed claim against the significant disruption and cost it would impose on the studio, and he found the balance tipped heavily in Marvel's favor. Crucially, the judge also recognized the potential for tangible harm to Marvel's business interests. The subpoena sought access to the studio's creative process, a closely guarded secret that is fundamental to its competitive edge in the global film market. Revealing internal communications, character development notes, script drafts, and marketing strategies for an active and highly profitable franchise like Deadpool could cause significant commercial injury. Competitors could gain unfair insights, and the leak of such information could undermine future projects. The judge's protective order explicitly acknowledged the need to safeguard this type of sensitive commercial information from being exposed during litigation. This rationale underscores a broader legal principle that courts are often hesitant to allow their discovery processes to be used for what could be perceived as a fishing expedition into a successful company's trade secrets. Marvel's argument that the subpoena was overly broad and sought irrelevant, proprietary information resonated with the court. The decision sends a message that parties in a lawsuit cannot easily use subpoenas to draw unaffiliated companies into their disputes, especially when it involves proprietary assets. The ruling affirms that there must be a direct, relevant, and proportional need for the information sought, a standard that Baldoni's request failed to meet once his primary claim was dismissed. While the dismissal of the defamation lawsuit and the quashing of the Marvel subpoena represent a major setback for Justin Baldoni, the legal war is not entirely over. Judge Lyman has granted Baldoni's legal team an opportunity to salvage a portion of their case. He is allowing them to file an amended complaint by June 23, 2025, but with a much narrower focus. This new complaint can only pursue claims related to alleged interference with contracts, a far cry from the explosive defamation and extortion claims that have been thrown out. This leaves a small window open for the dispute to continue, albeit on a much more limited legal battleground. For Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds, the ruling is a significant vindication. Their legal team is now on the offensive, seeking to hold Baldoni accountable for what they have characterized as a baseless and malicious lawsuit. They are pursuing attorney's fees to cover the costs of defending against the dismissed claims and are also seeking punitive damages. Their argument is that Baldoni's lawsuit was a strategic tactic, often referred to as a DARVO strategy, deny, attack, and reverse victim and offender, intended to intimidate and silence Lively. This position was supported by amicus briefs filed by 14 women's rights groups, including the National Organization for Women. The impact on Marvel Studios is unequivocally positive. The studio has successfully extricated itself from a messy, high-profile celebrity feud without having to compromise its valuable intellectual property. The ruling reinforces its ability to protect its creative and business operations from external legal entanglements. It allows the creative teams behind the Deadpool franchise and the broader Marvel Cinematic Universe to continue their work without the shadow of litigation looming over their character development and storytelling choices. The Nicepool character, which Marvel has stated is not planned for future projects, can now fade into a piece of movie trivia rather than a piece of legal evidence. Ultimately, the fallout from this protracted battle will likely have a lasting impact on the careers and public personas of those involved. Baldoni has claimed to have lost significant work and suffered hundreds of millions of dollars in damages due to the initial allegations. The dismissal of his defamation suit is a severe blow to his efforts to clear his name through the legal system. For Lively, the ruling bolsters her credibility and strengthens her position in her original lawsuit against Baldoni. As the remaining legal threads are addressed, the case serves as a stark reminder of how quickly professional disputes in Hollywood can escalate into deeply personal and reputation-defining public conflicts.